Welcome to Picks with the Professor, the sports betting show brought to you by Real Statistics Professor. This is Major League Baseball, Tuesday, August 13th. Because, Jared, we are here talking about baseball. The baseball season has gone really well. You can see that on the screen. I think you're here for a slightly different alternative reason to that. What would that reason be?
Well, okay. The number one reason is that we are, as of the time of this recording, 11 days and approximately 15 hours away from the kickoff of college football on Saturday, the August 24th. So that is the main reason I'm here, getting back into the swing of things. But the other reason I'm here is because, both of us have lived a lot of life since I was last on the show. You can see new place.
Yeah, you have a new background.
Yeah, for the cousin Jared family here, just trying to get back into the swing of things. School year is about to start, and I'm like, what can I go back to get some semblance of normalcy? And here I am on Picks with the Professor.
Talking about baseball, you can see the highlights are on screen. I'm not going to read them to you. Every time we come on here, it's the same thing. We've been making a lot of money. Every day hasn't been necessarily profitable. Most weeks have. There have been some down weeks, but it's just been fantastic. I don't even know what else to say other than if you're not with us yet on Dub Club, you should be. But here's the thing, folks. If you aren't with us yet, we are doing a buy one, get 1 month offer this week only. The link in the show description will take you right there. I took the QR code off the screen because that QR code just takes you to my Dub Club homepage. But the link in the show description will get you a buy one, get one offer this week only. So you'll pay for 1 month and you'll get 2. That'll get you the rest of baseball season. August baseball usually goes pretty well for us here. September, first part at least, pretty well. That back part of September gets kind of high variance. You never really know. But with a player-based model for these trades, it usually does really well. And then you're going to get the first, several weeks of college football and NFL season at a discounted price here. You get a ton of benefits. So check that out. Again, buy 1 month, get one free with the link in the show description. That offer is good for this week only. Quick reminders here, pickswiththeprofessor.com/new will give you information about the community and the model. It is a player-based model. The ratings reflect the current roster, the college football model, and the NFL model. I need to put a slide together of how good we did last year, how well we did. It was like a 5% ROI or something in college football. It was like 20 in NFL. It was crazy. Yeah. All the models I build are player-based, and that helps us deal with injuries, it helps us deal with trades, all sorts of goodies. The average
going to help us with transfers in college football, right?
Don't remind me, because I feel like at this point, that still is like hanging over my head, being like smack in the middle of trying to get everybody in the right roster for college football. Is like, I'm the countdown. I'm like, we're doing a show on college football in less than a week. In 6 days from now, we're doing a show. And I'm like, I've got to have this model. I'm running out of time to finish it here. And it's obviously mostly the same model from last year, just figuring out who's where. But again, average grade for these players is 100. Higher implies more runs. It means for a pitcher, you want to be lower. For a hitter, you want to be higher. We are projecting an average game. One game we don't know just in the last 24 hours. Sunday Night Baseball, we did not expect the Mariners to score a floppity billion runs in T-Mobile Park against the Mets. That was weird, even though we did get the first 5 under, thankfully, by the hair of our chinny chin chin. Right now, the White Sox are beating the Yankees. I don't know if that'll hold. Probably won't, because the White Sox bullpen is terrible. But right now the White Sox are beating the Yankees. Like, weird things happen in one game situations. Right now the Guardians are beating the Cubs 9-8, right? You never know about one game. What we know about is the average. That's what we're projecting, and that's how we make money in the long run. That's how we do it here. That's how we're going to do it in college football. That's how we did it last year in college football, NFL as well, is that we know what prices make for good prices. That tells us anything is a good bet. If we find that right price, remember, again, we'll talk about it for these games. You get all that information for every single game on Dub Club. Of course, as always, take what you like and leave the rest. Lastly, we did our first giveaway attempt here on Monday. It did not go as planned. It was unsuccessful. We will try again later in the week to give away some money. Surely we will do better than the poor performance that we had here on the first set. Of course, like we say, every pick, we don't know what's going to happen in one game. Unfortunately, it did not go our way. So it was disappointing. We were hoping to give away some money, but we will give away some money on the at some point here. We'll do 3 of these or so a week. And so stay tuned. We'll make shorts and tweets and reels and TikToks. It was there was some sitcom, I think, that's called them TikToks or something. I don't remember which one that was. Was it Parks and Rec did that?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, so we will be doing more of those. We'll get to it here though. Start off with the Rangers and the Red Sox in Fenway Park. This is going to be a 7:10 p.m. Eastern. First pitch, mid to low 70s, slight breeze, maybe out, maybe across. This isn't really about the weather. The weather's going to have a very mild effect on this one. It's really about the fact that both of these offenses have scored a lot of runs as of late. The Red Sox offense looks really good, is grading out really well up to number 5. Again, that's current performance based. That's not saying they have the 5th best numbers in all of baseball. It's saying current performance right now, who's on the field, how we're playing. I've got the Red Sox ranked 5th. Now, they're barely above a bunch of other teams. It's not like they're running away with 5th, but they're up there really well. The Rangers have been solid, scoring a lot of runs here as of late. And it's about the fact that these starting pitchers are just mediocre at very best. Worse than that, probably in reality, Jose Urena, a 4.31 ERA, but underlying metrics worse than that, projects to be one of the bottom pitchers in baseball. Cutter Crawford started out the season decent, still holding on to a 4.07 ERA, but the underlying metrics taking him in the wrong direction, looking much more concerning. These offenses have an edge against both pitchers in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. We're projecting this for 10.7. We're going to go over 10. Cousin Jared, tell us more.
I love this play, and it's not very often you'll get me to say that I love an over in a double-digit number. But the Rangers, since the All-Star break, they have scored their games they have participated in have scored at least a total of 10 runs, 11 out of 21 games since the All-Star break. With the way that offense was going early in the season, I would have believed you if you said no team scored double digits in 11 out of 21 games at some point during the season. So their offense is definitely coming around. Of course, half of those games being played at Globe Life, where they're not getting a weather advantage, at least playing there. And then for the Red Sox side of this, you mentioned Cutter Crawford. Sideline started out the season being a little bit high on him, and it was profitable at the beginning of the season. But, man, has his grade changed as the course of the season has gone on. I think he was down around a 90 at one point, maybe 91, all the way up to a 108. And so it's not often that Sideline will do a big turn like that, kind of sending him from a borderline upper-level pitcher to a borderline lower-level pitcher. So that's caught my eye as well. I just think, to your point, this is just a well-timed matchup for offense, with the Rangers getting to get hold of Crawford, just the Red Sox improving against the Rangers staff that's just been up and down all season.
Of note there, we do have this as the Red Sox winning it 57% of the time. Just so you're aware, folks, you can see it on screen. That means we think that the price should be minus 132. The threshold for the Red Sox being a good play, according to Sideline, is minus 119. Right now, that's not really anywhere close. For the Rangers, it's plus 153. We're even further away from that. So we get that information so that you could look at that and watch price moves available for every single game over on Dub Club. Cousin Jared, I do want to take a little bit of a detour here, and I think this is a very interesting discussion. If you have any thoughts on this, and we've not talked about this, so I'm putting you on the spot here, but you mentioned Crawford's rating declining during this season. I've noticed that with a lot of the star pitchers. I was actually just looking at this today. There's a lot of pitchers whose grades have gotten a lot lower. That just, it makes sense with the way they've pitched, but it feels like a more volatile year than ever before. And I don't know if you would agree with this or not, your take on it, but I was just looking at this, and, Kevin Gausman, who's been a mid-70s pitcher, it seems like, for the last several years, is graded out as a 90, which isn't bad. It's just gone from elite to just, good. There's just been, a lot of pitchers like that for a while there. Logan Webb was dropped back. He's now at least back up. But we've had just a lot of these pitchers, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and both those guys are starting to look a little bit better now, trending in the right direction. But those guys' ratings fell a lot. There were a few others in there that kind of caught my eye. And then the flip side of that is guys whose rating has just skyrocketed in terms of the good direction. Obviously, Skeens, which we knew he'd be good. We didn't quite know he'd be this good right away. I mean, this is incredible. But Chris Sale becoming one of the best pitchers in baseball. Some of these guys like that, we would have said, if you just said coming into the season, Sale's going to stay healthy and he's going to be an 85, I would have been like, that's a great year for him at this point in his career. But we're getting from being one of the best pitchers in baseball. It just seems like there's a lot of guys at the top and have fallen from the top that just kind of caught my eye and was surprising. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, and I guess I don't think that with pitchers generally, especially starters, you're not going to necessarily have like a issue with sample size, I guess, because they have generally pitched so many innings that you know what you're getting. And I don't remember these kind of shifts in the past. So I could see, I guess I'm not surprised about some of the guys who have improved, because you could say, well, yeah, if Sale could stay healthy. I mean, there were just so many injuries that have just derailed him, and some of those other pitchers, it's really easy to say, hey, they've just realized some of their potential. But yeah, the way that some of the other pitchers have just fallen off this year, that's what surprised me more. And, like, Justin Verlander is another example where obviously, like, his age, like he's just getting older.
We kind of knew it was going to happen. I think the model coming in was already baking some of that in and had him in the mid 90s, maybe. Now he's down to the 105.
Yeah. And so I guess I'm not as surprised about the people improving. I am surprised about the people that are kind of not playing as well and sidelines, really latching onto that and seemingly, I don't know, penalizing them more than it has in the past. But I mean, clearly Sideline's doing a pretty good job. Yeah. I mean, we can't. Clearly, it's seeing something that we would think not seeing.
Yes, I think it's reacting really well. It's just, and this is, like Blake Snell right now. I think I have Blake Snell rated better now than I had all last year, because what he's done of late actually looks more impressive than what he did last year with regards to the underlying metrics. It's not like it's good luck. He's actually just pitching really, really well versus last year when it was like he was pitching well, but the actual results was just leaving a ton of guys on base. And we know that it's not really like his grade being a 75. It's like, wow, that's really impressive. That actually is Cy Young caliber. Yep. The other one that jumps out to me, Michael King at a 79. And I'm sure someone would comment, you can gloat in the comments if you want. I knew we expected something from him, but I did not expect his rating to be in the 70s. I feel like that took me by surprise too. He's having a great season though. And this is I know a lot about baseball. I watch a lot of baseball, but like I can't keep up with everything. That's why I have the model to help me do that. And so I see that, I'm like, man, like some of the guys who were into the 70s, I'm like, I didn't quite see that coming. Flaherty, of course, is another one. We talk about him with injuries and he's having a great year. So been a lot of volatility this year with starting pitchers, and to bring it back to our discussion here, Cutter Crawford's been one of those where it's been better to fade him. It's been better to just take overs with these two teams. I think we had the over with these two teams in their series recently in Arlington, and I think all three of them went over by like the fifth inning. And so hopefully we get the same result here on Tuesday. But folks, as always, shop around, make sure you're getting the best price every half run on totals, every nickel and dime on money lines. The more you can save, you win more when you win, you lose less when you lose, or you can turn a push to a win, a loss to a push. Always shop around, have multiple books in your account. If you don't have an account there yet, BetUS is a great place to sign up. They are still doing 125% bonus on your first ever 3 deposits. That sign up link is in the show description. If you're not with them yet, sign up today.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
And folks, we try not to go quite that long on every game, but I mean, college football season's coming around. We might go that deep on every college football game. So if you like the longer form, watch our college football shows. It's going to get long. It's going to get fun.
I don't know about you. I'm not going to have a timer when we're talking about SMU and Nevada on week 0. So
didn't even know they were playing. You've definitely started your research quicker than I have. So kudos to you for that, for being our college.
Well, I think there's 2 FBS versus FBS games, so it doesn't take much.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Pirates and Padres will be the other game we talk about here. Of course, a late one out in San Diego. The night games in San Diego tend to be lower scoring, especially in May, June, the way the weather works there. You don't see as much of that in August, so that's not really in play here. This should play like a normal night, though, in Petco. Maybe not quite so thick air like it might be in June, but it shouldn't really be a ball flying middle of the day, sunny type game. So pretty normal, run of the mill with regards to the weather. Luis Ortiz and the aforementioned Michael King. Ortiz has been a guy I've really liked. 3.29 ERA, and his underlying metrics aren't that good. I like Luis Ortiz. I'm saying this in a sense of the Pirates weren't even letting him start for a while. He was in their bullpen. They finally let him have an opener in front of him, and he kept pitching well enough that it was like, hey, this guy's like good enough to be in the rotation. A 104 grade's better than a couple of guys they have in their rotation now. They've realized that, so he's actually starting now. I'm pitching fairly well for him. Again, underlying metrics not quite as good as the ERA, but a very solid pitcher. Michael King for the Padres, again, talking about him, 3.20 3.21 ERA, and the underlying metrics align right with it. It is not smoke and mirrors. He's having a fantastic season. When you talk about the Padres bullpen, it's been much maligned, but it's solid at this point with the reinforcements that they've gotten at the trade deadline. The Pirates bullpen, not great, but not terrible. Of course, the Padres should score some runs, but the Pirates might struggle against King and the Padres relievers. We think the Padres win this game really often, but that's a very steep price. Instead, we're going to go to the total here as well as we did on the first game, except instead of the over, we're going to go under. Model says 7.4. We're going to go under 8. Cousin Jared, what are your thoughts on this one?
I know that I used to have a real difficult time coming on here and just reiterating the same things over and over again. And you made the comment, and I since heard it in the context of a band or something that was talking about playing shows. Like, sometimes you got to play the hits. You know, I mean, you want to come on here and say something original, but sometimes you just got to go back to the well with what got you there. And under in out there in San Diego, when you've got decent pitchers on the mound and the weather is you don't even have to say the weather's right. When the weather's not wrong, it's just it's too easy. I mean, it's just a play that you need to be making at minus 110 odds. You need to be making it because it's going to win probably 54, 55, 56% of the time in the long run. And of course, as this is mostly a math show or a statistics show, whatever we want to say, that's a good bet, no matter how you slice it. So I would love to be here and say something super smart, but hey, sometimes you just got to take the unders in San Diego, and that's kind of all there is to it.
And we did a lot of this earlier in the season with the first fives in San Diego, specifically because we were afraid of this Padres bullpen, games getting drunk late. And now that the Padres bullpen's been shored up, it makes you feel a little more confident going on the full game. The other thing of note, and I've talked about this previously on show, if you've been with us, and hopefully you have, because we haven't done as many shows here as of late. We're going to start ramping it back up and getting more consistent here going forward. But we've been talking previously about how the model recommended full game totals were doing much better than the ones that I highlighted as my favorites. And I think that was because I had an aversion to going over under certain kind of non-key numbers. Since I've changed that strategy, the ones that I've liked the most, and I've ignored that a little bit, factored that into the model, into the grading system, but kind of said, hey, if it meets it, it meets it. I'm not going to stress about it. If we think over 9.5, we're going to do it. Once I kind of got off of that, the ones that I've picked out have done a lot better. And folks, I know if you might be thinking, just chasing my tail, whatever. It's not really a small sample size. It's a very, very large sample size that we're talking about here. Just kind of trusting the model in these full game totals and not being really concerned. 8's kind of a dead number because you're really, concerned about 7 or 9. But when I look at 8, we think, of course, 8 pushes. Is this game more likely to land on 7 or 9? And I think the answer to that's clearly 7. That's the reason why we're projecting 7.4 here. The Padres offense can absolutely score, but in that park against a reasonable pitcher, with the Pirates offense being just kind of met even after their reinforcements of the deadline. Again, 7's more likely than 9. Like we say, it's not a guaranteed winner. Who knows what's going to happen in one game? But like you said, we're just trying to win 55, 56% of the time here on these minus 110s. As long as we're winning 2, 3, 4%, whatever, more than the implied odds, that's how we're making money. We're not making money by winning every bet. You could see on that first screen, there were a lot of losses. That's fine because we're winning a heck of a lot more when we win than we're losing when we're going to lose. So we're going to go under 8 in that one. Any last thoughts on this one, Cousin Jared?
Nope, you covered it well.
All righty. Well, that'll be our show here. Again, join Dub Club today with the link in the show description. The BOGO offer. You get a ton of benefits. If it's not a game I covered here, I will write up a sentence or two about it of something I would have said on show that is important. Give that out every single day for every single game. Cousin Jared, parting words before we head out.
A few things. Number one, don't want to pass up on this BOGO offer because this is a lot of content for at the right time. You're getting all of baseball, for that time period. You're getting the beginning of college football. You're getting the beginning of NFL. This is going to be helping you almost every day of the week, as definitely with baseball, and almost every day of the week as we get into football season. Breaking down the college football, I think, like I said, we've got 2 FBS versus FBS games. Florida State, Georgia Tech, maybe Florida State coming back to earth a little bit. Mm-hmm. Game in Dublin, weird things could happen. Still think Florida State's going to come out on top on that one. Then you got SMU and Nevada. I mean, okay, who knows? The two non-FBS games I'm interested in. We've got Montana State, good FCS program against New Mexico. Bronco Mendenhall coming out of retirement. And New Mexico may not win a lot of games, but with a Bronco Mendenhall coach team, they're going to play tight games is what I would say. Who can forget the 14-12 triple overtime game, Virginia and Georgia, Virginia and Miami. I don't even know if that was Bronco Mendenhall at the time, but that was all his players, so I still let it count. Yeah. That was before all the transfers. And then we get to cap off week 0 with the Island Special, Hawaii. It's never really college football season until you have an 11 p.m. central kick on the island. And we don't even have to wait for the end of week 1. We get it week 0 this year. Who cares that they're playing Delaware State? And I probably no way to watch the game, but I'm sure somebody in the comments here can tell me how to watch Hawaii's first game of the season.
There was a couple of years ago where I was watching Hawaii games on Facebook. And I mean, that's just college football is a beautiful thing. I see right now that Montana State is favored by 8 at New Mexico. That is incredible.
Yeah.
That one I think I'm going to have an easier time modeling because Montana State's been such a good FCS program. We have enough of a proxy that even though I don't have a player-based FCS model, I have a pretty good idea of where to slot them in. Delaware State's going to be the trickier one. That one's going to be a heck of a game to model. Because Jared, question for you and for the viewer, if you're still with us here after all this rambling, hopefully you've enjoyed this discussion here, viewer. If you want to chime in, should we maybe, because there's only 4 games, only 2 FBS games, should we maybe include like the Thursday games into the week 0 show? And that way the week 1 show, we can focus just on the Saturday games?
Yeah, because there's a lot of good games on Saturday that I'm sure we'll have thoughts on.
Yeah, so that's something, I guess, viewer, if you have a comment, a thought on that, if you want to keep us just pure, week 0 and just keep it a shorter show, what your bill, let us know. But if you want us, maybe we do a couple of those Thursday games in the week 0 show. And that way we give ourselves the opportunity to do more games in week 1. So something we'll have to think about. If you have an opinion, chime in the comments. Otherwise, though, as always, we do thank you for watching. We wish you the best of luck. And remember that you can eat your betting money, but please don't bet your eating money.